Okay, so the English-only movement. What is it? According to Wikipedia, it is a political movement for the use of only the English language in official United States government operations through the establishment of English as the only official language in the U.S. So in other words, it's basically only English is allowed to be used in government documents, so there'll be no other languages allowed on paper to be given to the government. People are kind of not all about this, right? This has been a movement for a while, but it's really gotten more recognized since Trump took office. And people have like this worry that it's going to take away from people who speak other languages in their culture, and it's going to, kind of... So it was kind of difficult for me to find, articles that were for and against it. Most of them were against it. I found one that kind of gave some pros and cons. Some pros that I got from that were that, it encouraged immigrants to learn English instead of just relying on Spanish or whatever language they know to really get by. It also abolished the use of translation services, which can save people money, but it can also lose people jobs. And a pro is also that it will promote unity with, everyone speaking one language will bring us all together, and it'll protect the English language. Now, I have some problems with that last one, because the English language seems to be like the big dominant corporate language of the world, and does it really need protecting from the people who live in the US? That, I don't know, I don't think it really needs to be protected. Some cons I got from this resource for this movement was that it restricts free speech. If you force everyone to only be able to speak this one language, then you don't really have complete free speech, because you're only allowed to have free speech in this one language instead of any language you want. It also discriminates against minorities. It forces people to have to know this language before they can be incorporated into our culture and our communities. And it promotes division. So it kind of, if you don't speak English, then you're kind of pushed to the side. As of 2010, there are 28 states that have made English their official language, including Utah. This is from 2010, so there could have been more that added. But as of 2010, which is the most recent I could find, there's 28 of them. So I did find this organization called Pro-English. So this is for the English-only movement, but they don't like calling it English-only. They call it official English because it's technically referring to English becoming the official language of the United States. I read through their mission statement, and it is for English only. They don't really... So they say that they don't want to take language away from these other people, but in making an official English government, then you're kind of taking these languages away automatically, because you're forcing them to speak something other than what is their native language, which, in the United States, right now, you can get official government documents in several languages other than English for whatever you speak, whatever you know best for the situation. But if you make it an official English government, then if you're in the United States and you're learning English, but you don't really have it to that level where you can read and completely consent to government form, then you're kind of hurting these people who are trying to learn English to be a part of our culture but haven't really quite grasped it yet. That's a problem I kind of have with it. So one thing I found for the pro-government unit is that, as I said before, it promotes unity, but I think it kind of promotes unity in division. So like the English speakers kind of have their own, we speak English, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the non-English speakers who still live in the US who are kind of pushed to the side because maybe they aren't good enough at English, to be able to participate in these English-only government. That could be. Also, this English-only movement, it will put cuts to places that are teaching English to these non-native speakers, because it already, you should already know English by the time you get here. So people who live here who don't fully know English and are learning, they might not have the opportunity to learn as quickly because these places that they're going to learn are getting budget cuts where they're losing people, they're losing profit, they might lose their business. I would also like to point out that this is seen as a good thing by government officials because it's less money that they have to spend for these people to learn. And the pro-English organization, in their mission statement, they also say that they allow immigrants to pursue the American dream. That they're basically saying that once you know English, you can finally go on to pursue your American dream. But why can't they pursue that in their native language? Why does it have to be English? English isn't the official language of the United States. It's not the native language of the United States. English settlers came here and they went across and already did an English-only movement to make English the main language in the United States. But by doing so, all these other languages that they cut off kind of lost their sense of community and their sense of culture. And that is a fear that many people have if this movement becomes reality. So that's a little information on the English-only movement. I mean, it's kind of hard to summarize a movement kind of unbiased when most of the information is biased towards being against it. I tried to find as many sources as I could that are for it, but it was very, very difficult. So